Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Hallelujah. Welcome Live Love Nation to our weekly Rev Up. We just started a new sermon series entitled Fearless. And in week number 1, we took a look at Matthew's account of when Jesus calmed the storm on the Sea of Galilee. It was in Matthew chapter 8, beginning at verse 23. Then he got into the boat and his disciples followed him. What obedience. His disciples, his students, are willingly following Jesus. They got into a boat, and then suddenly, without warning, like a lion ready to pounce out of the jungle, like a knockout punch in a fight, suddenly, without warning, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. Now, what I find so interesting is the word that Matthew chose. When he took a look throughout the thesaurus, he did not use the normal words for a storm. He didn't say thunderstorm. He didn't say a spring shower. He did not say a tempest. But the word he chose was seismos. We still have that word today in the English language. A seismologist studies earthquakes. It's an earthquake. It was earth-shattering, earth-rocking. And so this storm was so intense, was so bad, that Matthew chose the word seismos to describe this furious storm. And Jesus was in the back of the boat sleeping. We know that Peter and John, they were experienced sailors, experienced fishermen. They were fighting to keep the sails down, fighting to keep the boat afloat. Matthew was a confirmed landlubber. Matthew was an accountant type, a tax man. And I'm sure Matthew was fighting to keep his lunch down during this storm. The disciples, they went to Jesus and they woke him. And they said, "Lord, save us. We're going to drown." Now, the New Testament was written in Greek. And what's interesting, in the Greek, that's only 3 words. In this panic kind of state, the disciples went to the back of the boat, they woke Jesus, and in very staccato kind of language, they said, "Lord, save, dying! Lord, save, dying!" There was no time for a discussion. There was no time for chit-chat. Just simply, "Lord, save, we are dying here." And then Mark throws in something that Matthew does not include. Mark says, "Lord, don't you care? Don't you care that we're about to perish?" Do you see what fear does? Maybe you felt that same way at times, right? Like the Lord is asleep in your storm. Like you're going through something pretty intense right now. You're going through something that's very difficult, and your eyes are wide open in fear. And you feel like Jesus, like his eyes are closed. And you're wondering to yourself, what's going on here? Is Jesus keeping up his end of the deal? I'm a follower of Jesus. I'm one of his disciples. Is he keeping up his end of the deal? Do you see what fear does? Fear is a liar. Fear erodes our confidence. Fear causes us to question the very character of Jesus. Fear numbs our memories. At this point, the disciples, they saw Jesus heal hundreds of people. They saw Jesus feed thousands of people. They saw that Jesus already had authority, already had power over nature. And yet they still questioned him. Don't you care? They still questioned his character. I think so often we kind of fall into the same trap, don't we? We're so focused on our fears. We're so focused on the situations, the difficulties, the issues of life, that we lose sight of the very character of Christ. We lose sight of his goodness and of his love and his promise that I will be with you always till the very end of the age. The disciples went and woke him saying, "Lord, save us. We're going to drown." I can see Jesus just kind of picking his head up off the pillow. And he said, "You of little faith, why are you so afraid?" Then he got up, rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. You see what happened there? Jesus rebuked this seismos, this great storm, with an even greater calming, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." My friends, I want to challenge you to put your fears in perspective. And once again, I want to be careful because I know some of us, we are going through some very difficult things. But I want to challenge you to remember that Jesus is not rattled by the fears that grip and shake us. He not only has power over the angry seas, over the winds and the waves, but Jesus has power over life and death and everything in between. Jesus lives. And because he lives, we know that all of his promises are true. And so you know what? We can live fearlessly. We can live a life of freedom from fear because we are in his hands. And there's no better place to be. My friends, Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Hallelujah. You have a great day. God bless and live love.